Ever felt, a bit lost trying to understand all the complex tech behind our digital world? Wish someone could just break it down. Well, today, we're doing just that. We're taking a deep dive into something called VMware vSphere. For this, we're using insights from a great beginner-friendly source, a YouTube video transcript called What is VMware vSphere? Understanding Virtualization and Its Benefits. Our mission: unpack what vSphere is, how it actually works, and importantly, why it's such a big deal for businesses and tech. But, keep it straightforward. Okay, let's get into it.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, really, how virtualization has become so completely core to modern IT, even if the terms themselves can sound a bit intimidating at first.
That's a really key point, because before we jump straight into vSphere, we need to get our heads around the basic idea first, right? What is virtualization? The old way, historically, was simple. One physical server, one machine, running just one operating system. That's it.
Exactly, like having a whole huge server just for one small website. Kind of wasteful.
Totally. You're barely scratching the surface of what that hardware can do.
Precisely. And virtualization is the tech that frees us from that. It lets you create multiple virtual servers, totally separate, inside one physical server. Imagine taking that one big server and slicing it into several smaller, isolated virtual machines, each running its own stuff. So connecting that to the bigger picture, virtualization is all about using your hardware way more efficiently. Getting the most bang for your buck, really.
And the benefits pop up immediately. Our source points straight to things like cost reduction, less hardware needed,
Right.
more efficient management controlling things becomes easier, and much more flexible operation.
Huge wins right out of the gate. It means you can manage more, spend less on physical kit, and adapt faster.
Okay, so virtualization is the concept. Now, how does VMware, the company, package this up? Let's bring in vSphere. Our source says vSphere is the umbrella term, the general name for VMware's big suite of virtualization tools. And VMware, by the way, they're part of Broadcom now.
Which naturally leads to the question, okay, if it's a suite, what's actually in it? What makes vSphere, well, vSphere?
Exactly. It's not just one piece of software. The source breaks it down to two main things working together. First up, there's ESXi. Think of this as the core engine. It's the software that actually runs the virtual machines.
It's what we call the hypervisor.
Right, the hypervisor.
Now,
And it's a Type 1 hypervisor, which is important. It runs directly on the server hardware, bare metal, they call it. No underlying OS needed.
which means better performance, more security. Very efficient.
Then the second piece is vCenter server. If ESXi is the engine on each physical machine.
Then vCenter is the cockpit, the control center.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you that centralized management. You can look after all your ESXi hosts and all the virtual machines running on them, all from one place.
Instead of managing each server one by one, big time saver, much less error prone.
So the source simplifies it nicely. vSphere is pretty much ESXi plus vCenter, working hand in hand. Now this is where it gets really practical. Why do companies actually buy this stuff? What are the game-changing advantages that make them invest in vSphere?
This is where the real power comes in. The source highlights 4 key benefits that honestly have made vSphere almost standard practice. First, server consolidation. Obvious one, maybe, but huge. Fewer physical boxes means less space, less power, less cooling, less maintenance. Direct cost savings.
Makes sense. Less hardware, less hassle.
Second, and this is a really cool one, the vMotion feature. This lets you move a running virtual machine from one physical server to another.
So it's still running without shutting it down.
Exactly. Zero downtime for the application or the user. So you can do hardware maintenance, balance workloads, whatever you need, completely seamlessly.
Wow. That alone sounds like a massive deal for keeping things running smoothly.
It absolutely is. Then third, there's HA, which stands for high availability. This is all about resilience. If a physical server suddenly fails, hardware breaks, whatever HA automatically restarts its virtual machines on other healthy servers in the cluster.
So services keep running even if a server dies.
Pretty much, yeah. There's a very brief interruption while it restarts, but it prevents a total outage, keeps the business running.
Okay, so consolidation, live migration with vMotion, and automatic restarts with HA. What's the fourth?
Data protection. Virtual machine backup and snapshot features, these are crucial. Snapshots let you freeze a VM state, maybe before an update, so you can instantly roll back if things go wrong. And proper backups, of course, are integrated for disaster recovery, so if you have a major issue, even ransomware, you can recover your systems.
Right, like an undo button for your servers plus insurance?
Sort of, yeah. So you put all these together, consolidation, vMotion, HA, backups, and you get this incredibly robust, flexible, and efficient environment. That's the core value proposition.
Okay, that makes the why very clear. So we know what it is, what it does. Where do we actually see vSphere being used out there in the real world? What kind of places rely on this?
Oh, it's everywhere, really, especially in enterprise IT. The source points to three main areas. First, data centers. It's foundational technology in almost any modern data center you can think of, running all sorts of business applications.
The backbone, basically.
Pretty much. Second, cloud environment construction. This includes building private clouds within an organization's own data center, but also enabling hybrid cloud setups.
Hybrid cloud. So mixing your own infrastructure with public cloud services.
Exactly. vSphere provides tools to manage resources across both, making that connection smoother. And third, in-house development and testing environments. Developers love it because you can quickly spin up isolated virtual machines to build software, test it thoroughly, break things, and just delete it and start over without affecting anything else.
So safe sandboxes for developers. Makes sense.
Definitely. And what's interesting now, tying into that cloud point, is how vSphere keeps evolving. The source mentions its integration with things like VMC on AWS. That's VMware Cloud on AWS.
So running your VMware stuff on Amazon's cloud hardware.
Essentially, yes. It lets companies extend their familiar vSphere environment into the public cloud, linking their on-premise setup directly with AWS. It shows how vSphere is adapting, staying relevant.
Wow. Okay, that really was a deep dive. Let's quickly recap the main points for everyone. We learned that vSphere is really the cornerstone of modern virtualization, built on those key parts. ESXi, the hypervisor engine.
And vCenter Server, the central management piece.
Right. And together they deliver huge benefits.
Absolutely. Significant cost savings through consolidation, much better operational efficiency, things like vMotion and HA for uptime and flexibility, and robust data protection. It's why it's just so common in enterprises and data centers everywhere. It powers so much.
So as we wrap up, here's something to think about. We've seen how virtualization and platforms like vSphere has already changed IT. How might these ideas continue to shape everything? From the huge cloud platforms down to, the infrastructure running the apps you use every day. What's next? Lots to consider there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring.